waste some time, then black is happy to take on c6. So it's not like he's never.
It's actually what you're saying is very relevant, because we're basically now what we have on the board is the same position with black having 2 extra tempi, and Magnus still is playing it.
Yeah, in fact, if I remember correctly, I had some idea here to go queen b3, which would also provoke knight takes c3, bc. And I was arguing whether this position is still better for white, but finally I decided it's probably not. And bishop g5 takes
f6, bishop c1.
Yeah.
But that makes sense, because you still need...
You need knight d2.
Yeah, you need the square for the knight here. You cannot play bishop d2, because then the knight on f3 is stranded. But still, I mean, how much,
black has to solve certain things. I mean, he has to somehow solve the b7 c8 bishop combo issue. I mean, b6, bishop b7 at some point is a thing to do. I mean, he has to do something with the bishop. So if he probably starts with rook b8 in order to not have it hanging. I mean, I guess if you start with bishop b6.
Yeah, I was looking at bishop b6.
B1.
I'm not even sure we want to play rook b1. We might.
Queen a4.
Yeah, maybe.
You can start with knight d2 immediately as well.
Yeah, I was wondering about simply just playing bishop d5 and claiming I'm not very worried. But
it's hard to say always when some pieces come off. Yeah, in such fashion, if white is not going to have some pressure out. When it gets to b3, I go a4.
Yeah, the idea obviously was sort
Welcome
of never
to Carlsen-Caruana.
I don't know if I can make this work tactically.
World Chess Championship Game 9.
You're not afraid that this
I'm going to input the game to a GUI. This is English.
Yeah, knight d4 is never a tactic, because queen takes d5 is a check. This is maybe something we can show, because that would be a beautiful idea for black.
Yeah,
but it doesn't
if you had an intermediate move, knight takes e2.
Yeah.
But it's a check, yeah.
Yeah, it's a check, so it doesn't work. Yeah, and if I have to take on b3, I will be slightly worse. Maybe not by... Well, takes a5
in general, this is an interesting structure. So there's some disharmony here for black with this knight on c6 in front of the c7 pawn. I mean, in the ideal world, you have the pawn on c5, I imagine.
Well, after bc3, I don't know, because then white plays c4 and starts bringing the knight over to g5.
It's also possible, yeah.
Yeah. He played, once again, the point you made about the speed.
Bishop b6, yeah.
He's probably slightly disheartened, because bishop b6 is also pretty much blitzed out.
Even after bishop c1,
yeah. And
but you never know. It might be just the first line of the computer, so it's not.
Yeah, chat is informing us that bishop c1 is the first really new move according to megabases and things.
Yeah, like I saw here in the chat, 3d4 indeed. 3d4 is always a thing to consider. Yeah, 3d4. Yeah, particularly why I like white's position, but again, it's very concrete. If black trades these light square bishops without having lost anything in the process, he's probably doing very fine. I imagine. Oh, Magnus played very fast. Bishop b2. Okay, probably this could be the outer book move. Yeah, finally.
Well, also quite logical, because
bishop c5.
Yeah, but let's say if I would be without computer, it wouldn't occur to me so fast. You block I hesitate blocking the b file. You know, somehow I like it. I like it open.
Yeah, that's fair.
Out these moves.
We'll never see what's meant after knight d2. I imagine bishop d5 is
fast,
you could also start with queen d7, for example.
d7 or...
And
takes c3.
then, yeah, you choose where to, maybe even to b6. I don't know.
Maybe to b6. So we can go bishop f8, bishop b3, b6 also, and I think everything is reasonably well covered. Knight on b3 is not that impressive. It doesn't really have very many squares. Yeah, bishop b2 is kind of curious, because do you want to play d3, d4 immediately if you are allowed to?
So queen d7, let's say, the dummy move. Yeah, d4 and e4. Yeah.
e3, d4.
At least the advantage of bishop b2 over e3 is that now your e pawn is free to move in one go to e4, because it's not guarding the d4 pawn.
But the question is, let's say I go bishop f8 here.
You want some? You already see some Grunfeld.
Yeah, exactly.
I see.
Before knight,
I feel
knight
excitement.
a5.
Oh, I feel excited. Knight a5.
Yeah.
Now this is Grunfeld. Yeah, it's always, of course, such position is, I guess, to h3 or not necessarily. Where does
probably, because otherwise some kind of h4, king h2, bishop h3 later on might become a thing. Let's look at bishop h3. Yeah.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I was wondering if I can get you excited with ideas like c5 and b6, knight b7, knight d6.
No, I think I'm more excited about maybe even b5 in this position.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean I'm allowing knight g2. No, not with the knight.
Yeah, with the idea of knight c4. Yeah, I'm not sure this is so good for black. It's hard to say. So maybe knight d2.
Knight d2, or there was also an option of taking and playing queen a4, but I don't know what's stronger.
Yeah, it's very often the case actually after bishop h3, when there is no attack coming, you just take and you misplace the queen. That's probably the case here as well. You should probably take it.
But queen a4 b6, I don't know.
Start knight d2 and then.
But okay, I play b6, and the knight will sort of slowly get toward.
Yeah, eventually I might want to go f4. Eventually, I mean, I'll go c4 at some point, and I don't know. Eventually, I'll go f4, and I mean.
Yeah, black is aiming for some kind of knight b7, maybe a5, knight c5 setup.
It's a little bit of a cliche, but the f8 bishop is kind of a bad bishop. I mean, at the moment.
So no disagreement.
It is a little. For sure. This position in that regard is a little ugly for black. I felt.
Yeah.
I mean, probably if possible, you would like to stop d4, no? Somehow.
But how? I mean, there is the option of playing, I don't know, queen e7, d4, rook a d8, but.
E7, yeah.
I mean, that's.
But then you get some. Yeah, but you're not even You're not really attacking my.
No,
I mean, I can even go.
I'm wondering if I can stop e4 by then not taking everything on d4 and going c5.
Yeah.
This was my
quote
unquote. Yeah, quote unquote plan was to do this.
Yeah.
And
okay, I mean, I can sack my bishop for one of the pawns, but then
bishop
you're doing
f6 maybe.
But you're doing very.
But I'm still doing quite well. Yeah.
C pawn. I mean, if I had f4, e5 already in, maybe I would have some initiative, but now not. So maybe I have to unpin myself with queen a4.
Yeah, but queen a4 is a very important move here.
By the way, good to know that Fabi is probably out of books, so we can now talk about the position and not feel entirely stupid when he just plays something else immediately.
Okay, let's try bishop b6.
Yeah, it's probably important to mention that after d takes e5, you get a weak e pawn, but then my whole thing starts to make.
This is like those Slav structures, like, right? There were, although I mean the queen side doesn't look like.
If it's actually good for black. Here I have maybe some nesting with bishop c1, and then I get my knight to e4. I assume you go h6.
Yeah,
I go knight d2, knight e4, and suddenly once my knight is on e4,
it looks a lot better for white.
At the very least, it's an illusion of a beautiful
bishop
position.
c1. Bishop c1 is a very good catch there. Yeah, for sure. I was actually kind of planning to take with the knight, but in this
that's what your pawn b7 is hanging.
Yeah, exactly. Because the b file is now closed. Because in previous positions I would play rook b8 here and skewer the.
I think we both have the natural disregard for the pawns. Like you don't see them hanging until very late, and very often you don't see that at all, and then you sort of sacrifice them, and that works out. I mean, I remember your game against Shankland recently with black. You sacrificed the c6 pawn.
But you know the funny thing about that game, did somebody tell you?
No.
I was 100% certain this was still your game of some kind.
This is game of Adiban actually.
No, but I was sure it was yours, and when I felt it was yours,
you are excused.
Yeah, and then I felt okay. If Anish has done this, it must be correct, and I don't even need to calculate.
Yeah, but that was like the whole that's a funny thing. Sometimes I also have this disregard for the pawns. I remember one time I sacrificed the pawn to Levon Aronian, who also likes to sacrifice pawn. And then after the game, he just picked it up and won. And I told him, like, but I thought you don't like to have extra pawns. I mean, that's not fair. Yeah, now rook b8 is met by bishop a3.
For instance, bishop a3.
Getting out of the bishop of these things. Bishop a3, and then just bishop g2, and we can stop.
Yeah,
talking,
there's also bishop c6 tempi in some positions. Yeah, I don't think it works.
Yeah, and rook d2, a little desperate. You also have bishop a3.
Yeah, I didn't like. I was looking at this. Yeah.
So how do we get here? This was a small queen e7. Yeah, queen e7 probably not. There is also an idea to reply d4 with e4, which is very strategically interesting. So suppose you drop the bishop, I don't know, let's say here, d4, e4, and f5. But this is an extremely risky pawn structure for black, I believe. There is a danger of getting c4, f3.
Yeah, it very much depends on whether we can actually stop c4 here. Let's say knight a5.
Yeah, I've analyzed similar positions. Actually, I can maybe you know the line as well. Very, very similar stuff. And that actually also, there you also have this bishop c1 idea. I introduced once against Boris this, reintroduced this move order, maybe you remember in Town Memorial. And the point is that after knight f3, there used to be a guy who played a6 rook b8, which is awful, without d6, but that was an idea. But my idea was to go d5, takes, castle, in e5, and it's extremely similar to the game, because first of all there is this thing, which also draws in some kind of massive. And there's also this thing with bishop g5, f6, bishop c1.
Yeah, it is very, very
and then you can take
similar.
At some point, or here, go e4, and then go f5, and you get the similar vibe as in the game. So it is quite interesting how these two lines are somehow similar to each other.
So we're looking at bishop b6, bishop b2, and bishop
I think
goes somewhere.
allowing d4 and going e4 is way too risky. But again,
no, but once again, if we look at this for one move longer, e4, knight d2,
like
f5, you go e3,
knight
a5.
Yeah, this is the Greenfield move. And now you're ready to go c5 at some point?
And in particular, after queen a4, I have c6, and I have c4, knight takes c4 tactics, which are very important.
I just thought you were planning to go b6, but this is actually very lovely, yeah?
Yeah.
You get, once indeed you get the c4 square, the bishop on b2 starts looking quite miserable.
And then b5, bishop d5, if I achieve this kind of a blockade, I'm not worried about f3 very much, and I stop c4 completely. So
let's actually then have a look, because bishop f8 might be reasonably relevant. First of all, okay, I can again make this move that I feel you don't like. I just feel it.
That was actually my default setting. I'm very the idea of pushing d4 so early did not really occur to me. Now my default is to go knight d2 and just proceed from there. But
yeah, in fact, if we speak old-fashioned here, I mean, I know why Fabi doesn't have it, because probably it's not a first line of comp, not second line of comp, and maybe initially the number is less than, not more than 0.00. But speaking old-fashioned, in an old-fashioned way, of course, Black should have checked the idea of early d4. Because it's very challenging. Yeah. So actually, maybe it's the first time Magnus really got an idea in, no?
Yeah, with white, yes.
Depending on how big this idea is, but it is a challenging idea. I mean, it's not like the Petrov where it's all symmetric and not so much. I mean, you want to go d4, e4 and ask some questions. Yeah. Okay. So suppose d4, because I think it's not necessary. I mean, I can go knight d2 and just put the queen out to e4. I wonder if bishop b2 was needed, but I forced you to go back. So let's say. Yeah, and
is there a better square?
To e1, unlikely.
No, knight e1. Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, the move g4 is something you should probably stay away from, for many reasons. But it is, I mean, in some endgame, it could make sense to undermine the construction.
Even here.
Not really, no.
But
even queen h4, bishop
we're not threatening. Yeah, we're not threatening.
Even I mean, such a thing.
Yeah, that is a good point.
I mean, it's just probably some attack is coming. Also, I wonder how this changes the position.
But then maybe I start pushing for f3. That I would definitely consider.
At least make some sense to open the.
Yeah, and Magnus is still blitzing. Fabi already played bishop b6.
Bishop b6, yeah.
Yeah, and Magnus instantly replies.
It's a question in this position where the bishop stands. I would feel it's more normal on f8.
Yeah, because actually here after e3, knight a5, queen a4,
such an odd.
Or even queen e2. It's a lot more difficult for black.
But it's just so odd to have bishop on b6 and knight on a5, yeah. Queen e2, yeah.
Maybe queen a, but maybe queen g5 or c5, yeah. You can still play this with black.
Yeah, if you manage to keep control of the light squares.
But I guess here we go f3, yeah. I guess here we go f3.
Okay, it's still a knight c4. I take fe4 intermediate. I don't think e4 is the idea really. It's definitely not. E4 is not the idea. It's also not necessary. Question is if I'm threatening to take on e5. Yeah, that is a big question. And if just dumb move like rook b8 makes sense to just take with a knight.
But you're sort of really taunting white to go e4, yeah. So here, come at me, bro, type stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Which I mean, with the bishop on this b6, maybe it's not that horrible. Like bishop c4.
No, rook b8 is also not the go-to move, yeah.
For sure.
Bishop d5 is very normal, no?
Yeah.
Bishop d5 actually looks extremely normal.
Might force us to play e3 anyway, maybe, yeah?
Yeah, e3 is always an option. Now taking, I can just take with the knight, I guess.
It needs to be...
Oh, I can even...
Bishop g2 here, yeah?
Yeah, I can even take on g2 and...
Yeah, I think this intermediate works.
You were afraid of some c4 things, right?
Even here, I think bishop takes g2 is actually perfectly fine,
yeah,
so...
No, so this d is rubbish. So then e3, c... Yeah, e3 is a easy move. I mean, you're not gonna lose any pawn then, but it is not the most ambitious move obviously.
Knight a5 knight a5 for instance, yeah, or we can now... Actually, knight a5, because queen moves allow d5, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, knight d2, it is not... White's play is not too spectacular, but I'm fighting for this, some squares, you know.
And as you mentioned, the bishop on b6 is currently not that active.
Yeah, I wonder if at some point such a thing will happen, and then the bishop will prove itself useful, but...
Here I think maybe you sort of blundered in bishop d5, queen d5, c4. Well, I mean, blundered is a strong word, but...
It is so deep.
I think
that's where, you know, the experienced commentator just beats the newbie. I was sitting here relaxed, thinking we just talk you know, talk to people, tell them about bad bishops, good bishops, and you just some dirty, nasty tactics coming my way. I mean, how am I supposed to see this from afar? I mean, I don't see these things in real games. How am I supposed to see it in this chair, in this warm room?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
it's one. Also, after c5 d, it all looks very awkward. Bishop b6 c5 thing.
Yeah, that's true.
How much time did Fabi use? What is it? Yeah, not so much. Yeah, maximum like 20 minutes. But he probably is out of book.
Bishop b6 has been played. I mean, it's hard to judge exactly how much time he spent on bishop b6. He spent almost no time at all on all the previous moves, right?
Yeah, but then I imagine bishop b2 took him out of book. Yeah, so we discussed bishop d5, and now we said e3. Actually, other than bishop d5 suddenly looks so beautiful. Okay, there is the idea to take immediately, yeah? Which is very miserable, and do this, but then I wonder why not to start with bishop d5, right?
Yeah, I think if you're planning to do
this. In general, this getting rid of the tension, unless you force a draw, is a sign of weakness, yeah? Of character, weakness of character.
Yeah, I don't know.
But you know, I mean, it is not so stupid
no, it's not unplayable.
It's very miserable. You're praying for equality, probably.
Yeah.
To go c5, but it's
bishop c3 is a move. Yeah, there's
not that bad because I blocked the e4 square. So I mean, if I
I wanted to play queen e2 and I didn't want to blunder the exchange with bishop c4, which is why I kind of forced you to. But I mean, knight actually goes to d6.
Suppose I go with knight to d6.
Yeah, I don't know why I forced you.
I can even not hurry with c5. It's not that bad, but the question again is why to take ed when I can do it here, for example, if I need, and then or I can do it on the next move. Yeah, I can do it here if I need once again.
Yeah, you always have this option.
Yeah, actually, if I were black, this is the miserable way I would try to treat this position. I would go bishop d5. Any help from the chat or?
No, it's a habit I'm finding very difficult to break to look at what's happening in chat
and yeah, stop looking for the easy solutions. Yeah, well, that's why they invited me here. I'm the guy who's looking for the easy solutions.
No.
No, bishop d5, yeah, e3, knight a5, knight d2, take everything, go c5.
You are somewhat worse though, right? Or
that's what you deserve when you play like this. You deserve to be somewhat worse, but
maybe not
why
horrible.
So much? Why so much worse? Okay, you mean in general, yeah? Just if you take.
Yeah, I thought maybe white's pieces are slightly better coordinated, but if I could play queen f3 here, I would say white is maybe doing very well. But I don't have the knight is still hanging.
Yeah, white is in general better even after queen e2 because this f6 pawn is odd.
For sure.
And also in perspective, the knight has a d4 square. And I had actually this structure in my recent tournament in China against Yu Yangyi, and we had a position where he had the knight on d4. We didn't have the bishops, and I had the knight a5 on f6. On f7, and this knight on d4 is a very, very strong piece. And despite position being so simplified, white has a little bit of a pressure. Yeah, here white is slightly better, right? There's not so much going on.
Yeah, it's not a lot, but you obviously feel quite nice about the situation.
You know, if you manage to chop some things quickly.
Yeah,
and get away with it. You might be just you know, you might have played simple enough just to make a draw from position of weakness. But again, the question is then why I don't play c5.
Yeah, I was wondering. I guess d takes c5 followed by c4.
Yeah, because this makes absolutely no sense. Now you have a bad bishop, bad pawn structure, and everything, and there is no more. I mean, I blundered this trick with bishop d5 c4, but here I'm already a wise man, and I've avoided that. So.
Yeah, d5, and now there are.
Yeah, and now if you take with the rook, I mean, these pieces look extremely. How do you do the arrows? What is the?
Just.
And how do you select make pieces with color? Do you have this function?
Yeah, sure. Like just
with the left
right click, yeah.
Right click,
and this deletes everything.
But you somehow colored wrong pieces. I wanted to color these ones in red. Can I do that in red?
Yeah, for sure.
In red. Beautiful.
Wonderful, yeah.
And this also in red. This also in red. Yeah, this whole thing is now completely misplaced.
Yeah, and
so
also
that's why c5 is bad, people.
Christmas is just around the corner, so you see we're already decorating.
Yeah, I mean, if I were this is just bad. It's just bad. Whatever happens is bad. So c5 is bad. Well, you know, Fabi actually, he's seriously considering this operation of trading everything.
Yeah,
that's really an easy way out, and that's in the spirit of how he plays chess in this match with black. Trying to be simple.
With black?
I mean, the Petrov, the QGD trying to trade everything. Also, how he played the previous game with black. Remember, knight d4, knight takes f3, trading all the knights.
Yeah, I think that's fair. But in general, he was just so untroubled throughout the match with the black pieces that I'm kind of struggling to, you know, describe it as a general philosophy. He just never
he wasn't
had
tested.
Yeah, he wasn't.
Yeah,
really
everybody
tested
would like to have an easy life, but it's how you react under pressure what really defines you.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens today. Yeah, Bishop d5 is obviously a move. I don't think there is a direct threat yet.
Yeah, Bishop d5 is really the one that's asking to be played, because this e4, allowing e4, I mean, is a serious.
Is knight a5 a move? I understand, once again, it's against the spirit of what you're talking about. It's not really.
e4.
Let's go knight c4.
Suppose I allow and then go bishop c1. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, for me as a Grunfeld player,
I think from the Grunfeld, the only thing you have is your knight.
Well, I play c6 here, and I say, you know.
Oh yeah.
I am.
Yeah, you might be right actually, because I missed the strength of the silent move c6. No. Because now it's a question how I would like to have my pawn on f4, but I'm not in time to get the knight.
But also the bishop on b6 is actually a lot better than it is on f8, because it puts a lot of pressure on. And if you take on e5, I think I'm taking with the knight, and if the knights come off.
I'm taking on e5. Yeah, it's a little miserable here.
F5 is probably also playable, but just taking with the knight and this.
Yeah, the only thing about f5 is that you need to reply to knight g5 in a comfortable way. I mean, it might be taking on bishop g4.
Yeah, we're not even talking about this precise position, because I don't think white takes on e5 ever when the queen is still on
but
g1.
actually it's hard for white to make a move, to make a really good one here, because my knight cannot move, my bishops don't move. I mean, a4 improves my position, but so little that you're not inspired. Yeah, this is not inspiring at all, in fact, e4.
Knight a5 is a very concrete response.
So if I take, you have knight c4,
yeah? And this is what we need to come to some kind of a conclusion about. But so far I don't. Yeah, I mean, the question is, how do I reply to bishop c1 here, because b7 will be hanging actually.
Yes.
The pawn is not on c6 yet.
And also pawn on e4 is very ugly in these kind of positions. Now I like my pawn on e2, and I have the e4 square. I have this. This is actually a serious problem.
Yeah, probably this is why knight a5 is not great. Yeah, because if you take with the knight here, just to demonstrate.
The pawn is hanging, you mean?
Yeah, that.
But I think our chat is so incredibly intelligent. It sees these kind of things from afar. That pawns are hanging.
That is true, yeah. No, never disrespect the Chess24 chat, but it still, I think, pays to show these things on the board, and for the sake of clarity, I think we should try to show variations to it.
By the way, I already told the production team I had a great idea for Chess24 to finally monetize their beautiful company. So you guys, That's
very insulting. Why do you think it's not monetized now? What do you mean finally?
No, I mean, we both know monetization, can be always brought to a higher level.
Sure, but
so speaking of monetization of the company, okay, the idea is the following. For Chess24, it wants to provide, to show people, look how good we are. We have great commentary, we have all these fantastic things, the shows, the play zone. But at the same time, of course, they want the premiums.
Yeah.
Whatever you say, they want the premiums. Now, they cannot really say like, okay, look, we have this commentary. You have to be premium to watch it. That's just evil. So my idea is the following. We keep the commentary free. But when Grishuk comes up, if you are not premium, he's muted. Now the moment you pay is when you unmute the Grishuk. And the slogan is also, go premium, unmute the Grishuk.
And the Grishuk is the correct...
The Grishuk.
The Grishuk.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know my English.
Release
unmute the Grishuk.
Yeah, release the Kraken. Yeah.
And imagine how, so imagine you are a free user, yeah? You watch this commentary, and then we ask Sasha, so Sasha, what do you think about this move? And then he says something which the guy doesn't hear, and then we're like, oh, really? And then we all start laughing, and the person's like, what did Grishuk say? And then there's the option to go premium, unmute the Grishuk.
There's definitely some merit to this.
Yeah, there are a few rounds left, maybe it's just 24 production team.
Yeah, I was prepared to vehemently disagree with everything you're saying here, but on this one topic, I was ready to defend the
Chess24 strategy,
the mothership. But
no,
I think this is
this marketing is something I should really look into.
Yeah, this is a brilliant idea. We'll consider.
No, because Grishuk, he has this Go Giri thing about the Go Berserk. So now I also have the comeback to it. Unmute the Grishuk. Yeah, so like you said, 95 would be a beautiful move, but this DE, you're just not in time to...
Yeah, one more tempo somewhere.
To defend, 95, take bishop b7.
Yeah, with the pawn on c6 here, I would be extremely happy.
Yeah, yeah, and
I would be taking with the knight, yeah.
So 95 doesn't work, which is a blow to your Greenfield instinct, of course.
Yeah.
And yeah, really, you can do 95 after taking, but okay, the position is entirely different. And this knight c4 no longer makes sense because you go bishop c3. I mean, you need this. Like a Greenfield player, you often have the pawn on c5 instead of e5. Your structure is a little different, but there also you always hesitate to go c takes d4, right?
Yeah.
Unless really necessary.
No, well, you generally don't want to lengthen the diagonal for the bishop on b2.
And the c3 pawn is weak always. You need that weakness in white's position, otherwise you're just worse because you like the center. So yeah, like I said, this move rook b8, which I sort of, which is an obsession of mine. You just think e4, and if now knight a5.
Yeah, I think we were looking at something like this. Yeah,
not at this.
not in this
sense.
exactly position. Not exactly this.
I think this makes some sense.
Sure.
So you combine my bad idea with your good idea, and we make something out of it.
Yeah, I don't know how good my idea is, but.
Do you want to go d5 and try to go like queen d3 c4 quickly?
Yeah, I think that's the default. Maybe queen e2, but it's a matter of taste. Yeah, like bishop f7, queen.
Because if I get queen d3 c4, I'm probably a happy camper, right? Because this knight is never.
It's far away. Yeah, it's
very far away from the square. And knight c4 intermediate, we worried that we lose some material by force.
Queen e2, knight b2, g6. Yeah, you might just be losing there.
This
or queen b3 maybe.
Okay, knight e5. Anyway, queen b3 is good enough. But
queen, queen e2 might just be winning. Yeah, because there's this e7 threat in the end. e7, queen d7.
Queen first.
Yeah, queen first.
And then you're threatening the knight. And if knight moves away e7, if knight b2, queen b3, the threat remains.
And we finally picked it up. Yeah.
Yeah, which is obvious when you leave so many things in the air, something will fall.
But I think just psychologically replying to bishop b2 and d4, which is arguably the most direct option white has with this rook a b8 move, I think.
Yeah, I apologize for the move.
No, it's not. No, it's our job to point out interesting ideas. But what I mean is, for Fabi, for Fabi, and I think by this point we are quite clear he's on his own, right?
Unfortunately for him, yes.
Yeah, and when you're playing against a well-prepared player in this position, I think rook b8 is not very high. We're very near the top of the list because it feels slow, and it feels kind of you're inviting trouble. It might be a good move.
I must say, if bishop d5 is replied with e3, why would you not go bishop d5, no? I mean, I was even so desperate to consider a move like bishop f7, but that's simply because I'm looking for an alternative for move bishop d5, and bishop f7 cannot be better than... My idea was that here I can do this, yeah?
Yeah.
But it can be better than bishop d5, can it?
Shouldn't be.
Even here, I mean, why would you have your bishop on...
Yeah, I think you would prefer it on d5 in that position.
Yeah, so why couldn't we go knight a5? Oh, that's what we could, yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're looking at, yeah. That's what we're looking at, and by taking on g2, taking on g4, and playing c5 in that line, we were...
Yeah, that's the beautiful line that I just suggested immediately, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this just
snap, and
just
go
shows
c5,
my beautiful instincts.
Might be enough for not equality, but eventual draw. Let's put it like this.
Yeah, with some hard work, and Magnus likes that, of course. Not to say that there is bishop c3.
That is very.
This is a serious.
But queen d5 check e4, yeah.
Yeah, because the issue is that I probably have the check here.
Yeah, you've defended everything very nicely. Yeah.
I might be happy to trade down to knight against bishop especially only because of the f6 pawn. I mean, if the pawn was on h6, there's nothing going on. But this pawn on f6, the weird weak light squares, and you have to imagine, let's just in the future at some point, I will go h4, h5.
Yeah.
And then if you go h6, you have a weak g6 square. My knight is gonna go to these squares. The bishop cannot control them. This is horrible. And if check, I might have this move e4.
I think you have to play e4, otherwise knight c6 and black kind of solved his problem.
Yeah, it's not positional desirable, but
we win 2 tempi.
Yeah, 2 tempi is...
2 tempi is a lot in this position.
And then
even queen a4, yeah.
Yeah, kind of even winning a piece. Maybe.
Yeah, even winning a piece.
Even winning a piece is not so bad. Yeah, bishop b6, but then it's super clumsy.
Yeah, but now it's not great.
Yeah, this simply doesn't work. I mean, this operation of mine just doesn't work.
Yeah, bishop c3 is a very nice spot there in the end.
Well, actually, Fabi is thinking about all these things, and he doesn't see a solution, yeah, which is not easy for him.
Not so far, yeah.
I think you also always hesitate if you are unprepared to do these kind of things. I mean.
Yeah, and this is maybe the one position where we felt the bishop may have been better on f8, yeah, because
I'm not sure, because knight a5 is just, I don't know. Bishop on f8 is also not a genius, no. And
no, but we had the c6 b5 plan there. This is the difference to my eyes, because
I thought we could also go, like, let's say here, if we go c5, we do apply some pressure on d4. So if the bishop was on f8, you could go c4, and the pawn would not be hanging. So there is something to say for
this is the way. This is the way to justify it. I think knight a5 followed by more or less immediate c5.
Yeah. So this is actually very critical. Yeah. e4 in this position, knight d2, f5.
Yeah. People have noticed the change in the dynamic in the room. That first of all, I'm not even touching the mouse, which I think is the first time this happened to me in my entire commentary career. And secondly, you are a lot faster than, I mean, I know you, but still the speed with which you talk is a revelation.
Unfortunately, it's not proportional to the speed with which I think. So your thoughts are still better despite the slow speed with which they come out of your mouth.
Yeah. And I think some kind of health warning should now be applied to this stream, because I have a feeling we probably should try to slow down consciously, at least for a little bit.
Absolutely. Yeah, this line is very critical. I mean, solving the crisis in the center with e4 f5, making it all very, very clear. I mean, you have to go knight a5. And now it's up to white. f3 always.
Yeah, f3, but maybe you just take?
Yeah, the standard reaction is to take and go c6, and e4 doesn't bring you anything, because by swapping everything you just left yourself with a weak pawn on c3.
Well, unless you give mate on the king side, but with the bishop on b2 you probably aren't giving mate on the king side. Yeah.
And also you'd like this bishop to be on d3.
Very much so,
I mean, the c4 square, the fact that black controls it is a huge thing. Maybe you can even here continue with queen e2, because if you don't get knight c4, then this whole thing is odd.
Yeah, maybe this is how white should actually proceed, because
it's not such a bad sequence as it originally looked.
And once again, I'm looking at c6, c5 here, but then like the previous moves don't make as much sense.
Well, knight a5 made some sense.
Yeah.
A lot of it, no?
Sure. No, I think you have to play
knight a5 is a good move.
Yeah.
f3.
f3.
Yeah, f3 is what we're trying. You
yeah,
have to take.
I think you have to, because bishop d5, you're probably losing the e4 pawn very quickly.
e4 pawn is so weak, and e3 is not really weak.
Yeah, no, takes queen c2.
Even queen c2 or queen e2 and c4.
Yeah,
This also looks very nice.
Yeah, it's probably stronger. Yeah, I agree.
So you have to take.
Yeah, I underestimated queen takes
Maybe
actually.
Can you do something desperate? Like at least you get some square in. So
takes rook f1, I guess, to protect the e3 pawn and
now,
make sure that.
If I'm in time to protect my pawns, black, I'm doing fantastic.
I think you need to give up the.
Yeah, it's important, because rook f2 you think c6.
Yeah, this is exactly why I played
it's
rook
great
e1.
for black. But rook e1, now you put everything. Everything depends on whether you win a pawn or not.
Pretty much.
Position feels fine for black, but let me think if I can save my pawn.
I think you have bishop a5 in the end. Yeah, but I will be playing queen c6. What we're looking at is takes, and after rook b8, I think it's very important that I have the move queen c6, because it might win me some tempi.
Yeah, the problem is also if I try to be very flashy with this.
But even there, queen c6.
Yeah, that's the main issue. Yeah, and then in the end of the line, my rook on e8 is hanging.
There is rook e6, but you have d5, I think, or I mean, white has d5.
Yeah, this rook is hanging, so if rook e6, white has d5.
And we finally sort of protected everything. And
yeah, but maybe I can sacrifice a pawn just. But how?
Well, you probably will have to. It depends on which squares you choose.
But it always feels better when you think it was your own choice than, like, I sacrificed the pawn.
Yeah, that's true.
Sorry, you lost it. Fabi went bishop d5. This is still bishop d5, right?
No, we're looking at d4 f5.
Oh, excellent. So now we can just forget it.
Yeah, I think we can.
Is that how it works? You just move on?
Pretty much,
without a conclusion? Okay, excellent.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, bishop d5 played?
So we're expecting e3, although actually I said the d4 pawn is hanging, but I don't think it is, because b7 will be lost in the end, maybe.
Yes, but I think e3 is a useful move in general, because I want to be able to meet knight a5 with knight d2, right?
No, I think e3 is extremely logical.
Yeah, because if you don't push e4 in one go, you might just forget it immediately. Yeah, I mean, like queen c2, or what are the alternatives?
Queen c2 already played, actually.
I like that I suggested it, though.
Yeah, but
without much enthusiasm.
Yeah, you got it just in time. But this is very interesting, though, because I think it allows.
The thing is that here there might be something for black which solves it completely. Yeah. We might be, and that would just explain why he went queen c2.
The problem is that there are 4 people that can follow Anish, and 2 of them are playing right now, says Galactic. And we generally read out everything that Galactic says because it's good.
He's the guy, yeah.
It's good business practice too.
Does he criticize everyone, or I'm the first one?
It's not criticism. Come on, that was a compliment.
No, everything starts with the problem. I think it's a criticism.
No, I'm pretty sure that was a compliment.
Oh, Lawrence, this is not how chess works.
No, I mean, come on.
Lawrence is suggesting that Lawrence, he tries to make friends here. He's suggesting bishop b4, queen b3, bishop d5, queen c2, bishop b4, and he thinks he gets me excited with it. No, Lawrence. Okay, any other queen move, yeah? Queen c1, queen a4, whatever.
No, but I mean, the big question is, why are we not taking on d4, f3, and d4? We need to at least explain.
Here.
Yeah. Why is this not
with what?
Knight, I think I have to.
But this is.
Are you just?
Even this is. So
you're
ugly.
just going for this position, yeah. Just take on b7, return to f3.
I'm thrilled to be going for this position.
Yeah. I think you're
because
right.
the problem is that here you even could be losing a piece.
Yeah, this probably
because of e3.
Yeah, e3 is.
You cannot unpin, surprisingly, and I'm in this position. I mean, Magnus is just. I'm not gonna say what else happens to his body after this happens.
Rook a8 e3, yeah, it's actually very ugly. For
extremely, because the f6 pawn is there. I mean, I'm gonna put my bishop on f3, put the king on g2, and then go h4, h5. You have nothing to make you happy.
But still, it needs to be explained because queen c2 looks.
People see a pawn, people take the pawn, and we also should explain why, because it feels like this sort of works, but somehow it doesn't. I assume. Do you see why immediately?
Not yet, no. This is why I wanted to.
I think takes.
No, and I take on.
No, this is I think why it doesn't work. Here you cannot do because
I
have a check on c4.
You have a check on c4.
And correct. Queen d5 check. I have knight f3. I'm a piece up. So you must take first. And now I think I take here with the check. I go rook a1.
And queen c5, queen b3 check.
And I'm pinned. So if you defend, I go e3. And if you go queen c5, I go check. And then I take on d4.
Yeah, that is a good point.
It's very often, you're preparing such stuff with computer, and then you play it, and then you sit there with a smart face, and you think, why the hell is my pawn on d4 not hanging? And then you start thinking, did I mix something up? I say, no, I remember I checked it this morning. And then, without changing your face, you calculate and panic, and you see these kind of things,
Yeah.
I mean, it's so often that I give up pawns like this in the opening and don't really realize they're hanging until I arrive at the board.
Yeah, what happens if black plays...
Well, once you play e4, you regret the move bishop d5.
No, I have a very specific question. Yeah, I now have the additional option.
I meant if f5, let's say e3, c4 with the tempo.
Yeah, no, this makes no sense. But we now have an additional option.
Somehow the issue is going to be probably that the bishop on b6 is going to be so bad. Yeah, facing this pawns d4, c3.
But we still need to show how, because so far I haven't figured out how to make use of it.
So I take something. Yeah, I guess here.
Queen takes.
And
the plan is to reply with c4 with knight takes d4.
Yeah, let's show
in most positions at least.
Yeah, it's nice tactic because you attack the queen, and if you take you.
And now I've saved all of my hanging pieces, and I'm fine. Yeah.
So let's say I take back, then you take back.
And I think the tactic applies.
Yeah, especially because now there's this X-ray thing.
Okay, I mean e2 is hanging, and if you have to move the knight from d2, I will play knight a5.
No, well, here you are just. I mean, this position is winning for black out of nowhere.
Yeah, it looks close to winning.
Yeah.
Which.
No. Okay, so there must be something. Okay, it's here that actually makes sense to retreat the knight elsewhere.
Sure.
Even h4 comes into consideration.
Maybe knight h4 actually. Yeah.
Because now with bishop not on e6, g5 doesn't work because I have this move, and bishop on d5 is. So bad.
No, but we have
knight a5.
No, if we play knight a5 here.
Yes.
Yeah, hang on a second.
The lecture was premature. So here, sometimes you should.
Yeah.
This also happens.
No, but seriously, this might be a very, very serious option.
c4 ef doesn't work because after we trade, we take everything. White remains with the rook hanging. Yeah, I think we must go to d2 because.
Yeah, I don't see anything else. I don't see.
The moment black controls the c4 square and controls the e4 square as well. Remember, there was this game of Alexander Grishkin against Levon Aronian recently, where so knight d2 and e3. Yeah. Well, the thing is that Magnus played instantly so far, right?
No, I mean we're certain he has an idea.
So here he is prepared. So there is something.
But
Fabian is also probably wondering what is here.
Yeah, well
okay, there is this funny thing. I don't know if it makes sense, but just kind of funny tactic.
Yeah, I also spotted this, but I don't know like
to trade down because 4 after knight.
Yeah, v4. Yeah,
I'm very happy about. So if you take immediately, I take with the knight. Yeah, if black would manage to get the knight
I thought knight a5 here.
Yeah, this looks okay. What does it look like? Looks fine, right? You want to go knight c4?
I wouldn't be horribly unhappy here with black. I don't think.
Why would you be unhappy at all, right?
Yeah, looks healthy. Looks healthy to me. No, I think it actually is a very serious option, but.
Yeah, I'm just briefly wondering. No, okay, this is just fine. You can also take EF if you're worried about f4, or you can just take EF. Get rid of this pawn and. Yeah, this queen b3 looked lovely, but Lawrence is spamming the chat like mad, yeah?
That's what he does, yeah.
Yeah, it was a mistake by Supiko to call him into the show because now he thinks that people want to listen to him or something and starts spamming. He's advocating for the game to finish with this repetition of his.
So he's still come on, Lawrence, get with the program.
But he's actually Team Fabi, yeah? At least by religion. So he wants, of course, Fabi to escape with a draw.
Yeah.
And all this rubbish is just confirmation of that.
Maybe if we take on e3, do you take on e3 or on g2 first? Is my question.
Yeah, I thought taking on g2 is a good idea for black because now if I want, I can place my queen on d5, and if I don't, I can keep it on d8.
Yeah, because I would like to play knight c4 here, but I don't have. Yeah. And if I have to, like rook a1, but it just looks so slow.
You should have taken probably on e3, no? Because I'm not sure you're happy to. Are you to allow me bishop g2? I mean, maybe this was better version or not.
Well, we can't see a move here, so. I mean, we're not even entirely equalizing in the lines we've shown so far. You're an
experienced commentator. You have to equalize this.
I'm trying, but you know, this is one of those positions where. I was not
prepared for this. This is hard work. I wasn't prepared for it. I thought hard work was over. Okay, he went e4. That's great.
Okay, yeah,
It is though a pity that we cannot find a solution here because there must be one.
Yeah, I mean, Magnus is at an hour and 43.
The thing you said, does it really work?
But why wouldn't it?
I was just trying to be enthusiastic about.
Takes knight b3 or something, and then go c5 and pick that bishop up.
That I saw actually from the start.
But yeah, but I cannot believe this.
You can even keep the bishop, right?
I have queen d7, queen c6 check. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And then you don't threaten to take on b6. Yeah, this never works. And yeah, I mean, we're curious, but we probably should move on.
Okay, I think Fabi. Do you think he listened to law? Actually, it made sense because in this variation, my queen on c2 is absolutely fantastic. It's on the light square. It protects the e2 pawn. So this move of bishop e4 of Lawrence, it makes some sense to misplace it. Unfortunately.
Also,
it makes some sense.
I mean, you can't completely rule out the the outrageous possibility that Lawrence occasionally uses a computer. I mean, I understand it's blasphemy to even say those things, but.
Lawrence using a computer, yeah?
Who knows? And bishop b4 is on the board. One thing that will not happen is a repetition. I think what white will do is something like... But do you play queen d5 though? I understand Lawrence told us to play bishop d5. But do you play queen d5 here?
Because and then get this kind of position that I was advocating for.
Yeah, because I wanted to drive the bishop back and then go back to d1. I thought maybe that was smart. But actually, if you want to play queen d1, maybe play queen d1 immediately.
Why not immediately, indeed? Not to give the possibility of queen d5.
Yeah.
Yeah, as I said, e takes d4, c takes d4 is a sign of...
Queen b3 already played, though.
Yeah, well, if queen d5 is not a good move, then you might as well give a check. So that's
yeah, I guess queen d5 he just goes e3 and he says I'm not really that unhappy.
Well, I would like to trade on b3, trade the queens, move my knight away, go c5.
Choose a square, e7,
knight
I
b4.
guess.
I like
knight b4, yeah, knight b4,
d3, d5
yeah,
also.
For sure.
This looks
because
fine.
I wanted this, but I'm probably not in time. Yeah.
Slightly, you're pressing still slightly, probably. Knight c4.
Actually, I have something here with white. Maybe not a lot, but something.
Let's go all the way. Let's see d4. Let's just see if I make what I want to make.
Rook a no.
Rook a1.
Should be 5 knight c6 maybe, but
okay.
some kind of a. setup like this. But
not that bad. I bring my king in, king f7, king e6. F6 pawn in an endgame is not a bad pawn. It's nice that my king has a free way to the center.
And also it kind of restricts this bishop on d4 a little bit. Okay, bishop d5 played more or less instantaneously by Fabiano.
I think they are reading the chat. They're at Lawrence.
Yeah, I mean, I'm scared now.
I'm terrified.
I'm scared.
I mean, I'm absolutely terrified.
Yeah, and queen d1, of course. I mean, when you...
Jesus Christ. I mean, you know, with me here, there's such risk. If that happens, I'm going to be blamed for everything, right? I mean...
Well, you're still going to be, but...
I mean, if they would do this forbidden thing, I would be the culprit. I mean, they'd be like, oh, this is the guy, you know, fire the commentary guy.
Yeah, and the curious thing is, there is this bishop c4 idea, but I think the point is that here white probably has queen c2. And it's awkward.
Deep tactics.
It's awkward, because otherwise it's quite... b5, I missed b5.
No, but it's not a good move.
But it probably doesn't... Yeah, I probably have a way to exploit...
In the worst case, bishop... Oh, okay. Okay, actually not bishop. What if I just do something...
Bishop a6?
Weird like this, yeah. Okay, I mean with this diagonal, a2j diagonal so open, I'm a bit afraid of things, but...
Yeah.
For the moment you have to solve some concrete issues.
Let's go e2, e4 and give mate. Is it time for us to start saying goodbye to other people's pieces? I think maybe it is.
You can, yeah. The question is...
It's not even completely ridiculous.
Is that necessary?
Yeah, probably
if you
not.
just play simple. Is e2 really hanging? Okay, bishop e2 is bad because of rook takes e2 and queen c4 check.
That's cute.
So rook takes e2 is the only way to grab the pawn. And now the b7 pawn...
Yeah, we can pick up the pawn on b7 and black has to play something like knight a5 or knight e7 and he is worse. Yeah, that's a good spot.
That is but actually, black pieces are so misplaced that your suggestion of e4 is
it's not completely ridiculous.
Very decent.
It's not completely ridiculous at all.
I
no.
mean,
queen d6 followed by knight b4, knight d3 is the only thing that worries me.
Yeah, but for commentary room, this is very decent.
Yeah. No, I think in a blitz game you probably take white in this position.
Yeah. Yeah, this bishop c4, bishop a5 is extremely adventurous.
Yeah, I don't think it will happen, but I wanted to point out the option exists.
How did this actually happen? So it was... he made this queen c2 and he took, yeah.
Yeah.
Because he took because he was afraid of e4, yeah? You always take on d4 if you're afraid of something. Otherwise you don't really release the tension so easily. Because by releasing the tension, as I said, I mean, the c3 pawn was a weakness, now it's gone. So...
Yeah, so this is...
Structurally speaking, white has achieved stuff here, right?
For sure.
I mean, now we know for sure that white is either slightly better or pretending to be slightly better, one of the two.
Yeah, I quite like this position for white, and
yeah, it looks like black has done what a person who is unprepared would do. He didn't entirely solve his problems, but he's gained some stability. You know? Now he knows that there is no e4. I mean, there is nothing coming. You just strategically slightly worse. At least it's not so scary. You know that you have to move the knight away from c6, let's say to a5, and then go c5 and try to trade everything, bring the knight back to c6 and try to make a draw. You know what you want. So it's all clear. You achieve some clarity, but you haven't you haven't gotten a chance.
Yeah, he basically went for clarity over equality. I think that's a very good way to put it.
Yes, yes.
So I don't think he believes he equalized.
No, but I think he believes that he should be able to hold the draw in.
Yeah, and also one thing I wanted to ask you, no, but I think it doesn't work because with the queen on d1, this variation becomes ever so slightly different, but not.
Because queen takes d4, yeah, is an option.
No, but I thought we are still.
In the worst case, I can give a check. No, there's okay. You can show queen b3, king h8, bishop b7, rook a b8, and now if I'm naive, you give queen f2 check. I mean, if I go, let's say, bishop f3.
No, this one is not hanging, right?
Oh, yeah. So, okay, then I go
bishop
f3.
Doesn't work.
I go bishop f3,
Yeah,
no,
white is just better, yeah. White is just better.
Yes. Because after queen f2, at the end of the line, you are a piece up.
And this is never going to work. I can take. And
yeah, because I control the diagonal.
Yeah, just king h1.
Yeah. Once white controls the diagonal, nothing can ever happen here.
So it doesn't really change a great deal.
Yeah, it's also so extremely daring to take this pawn.
But yeah, I mean, black has a number
knight a5 is screaming, no?
Yeah, knight a5 or queen d7 first.
I mean, this bishop on b6 needs to be somehow addressed, and I think the only way to address that issue is to move the c7 pawn. And the only way to address that issue is to move the c6 knight.
Yeah, I think it's a very very logical conclusion. I mean, there is maybe some merit to playing queen d7 first, but you do have to play. I mean, the knight
queen
has
d7
to.
rook a8, absolutely.
Yeah,
very sensible.
But you will still have to play knight a5 and c5 at some point.
Globally speaking, you have to go knight away and c5, or knight away and c6, bishop c7, b5.
Some of those things. Yeah. Some of those things.
Solving the issues. Yeah. Just checking in which mood our commentator is gonna be. Yeah.
No, just generally, I left the hotel before the game 3 of the Women's World Championship finished, and I wanted to know how that ended.
The game 2 was beautiful, by the way.
Game 2 was an exceptionally well played game.
And I was sort of watching the GIF.
Yeah, I saw the comment, and I thought it was
I was waiting for one of the two to blunder the bishop, because I read somewhere that somebody blundered the bishop. So I was waiting for someone else thinking, when is she gonna blunder the bishop? Where is she gonna blunder the bishop? And then she never blundered the bishop.
No, it's just a beautiful, really well played game. If you haven't seen game 2 of the final over in Hante, it really is a tremendously well played game of chess.
It's one of the rare cases when you can hardly even blame the loser there, because I mean, you don't expect your opponent to play so well at this endgame. I mean, you just assume you make a draw, and then she just outplays.
I think it's fair, yeah. And in preparation for Alexander Grishuk joining us, you can see it's. I assume this ticker tape scrolls at the bottom of the screen there, but there are offers obviously right now during the World Chess Championship. There are offers to get Magnus signed mugs.
Yeah, but that's not Amir de Grishuk. I mean, who's paying for the mug? I mean, what kind of marketing is that? I mean, do you really want Magnus signed mug? Get a mug, go to Magnus, get it signed. Not so easy. So go premium. Go premium.
Yeah, I was about to say I'm not sure how realistic.
I mean, Magnus, he can be very angry. You can wait for him for 4 hours, ask for the mug to be signed, and he just says, "Not today."
Yeah, I mean, I think going premium is by far the more efficient way of doing that thing.
Getting the mug, yeah.
So we'll probably be taking a shortish break reasonably soon in order to make sure everything is working perfectly, and then Alexander will be joining us. Some sort of final thoughts about this position. We think white is even objectively slightly better. And
Why even? Because you mean practically.
But practically, with 50 minutes advantage on the clock, Magnus.
He's loving it. He loves that there is
Magnus hasn't started playing yet. This is also very important.
He also loves that there is no weakness on c3. He loves that there is no weaknesses here for white. It is only beauty. And he doesn't care that it's drawish. He's made already 8 draws.
Yeah.
He's seen worse.
So yeah, clearly Magnus has to be extremely satisfied with how this came out. And to go with this, his position might actually be objectively very good.
Yeah, let's also not overstate things in sense that it's not like he has a huge advantage, or
no.
It's not like he is getting a point out of the opening, so he's not completely ecstatic. He knows it's a long game ahead, but he is definitely pleased.
Yeah, for sure. And I think this should be a reasonable summary of what happened so far, and we will go on hopefully not a very long break.